Hey guys, what's going on? Pyro here. Today we're going to be talking about patch 1.5 for Overwatch and their hero changes that came with it, because there's a lot of them. There's a lot of general changes that are made for all heroes that we need to talk about. So the first one are, like I said, the general changes. So the changes that we're going to apply to each hero. The first one being that you only get ultimate increase if you damage other heroes. So, for example, if you hit Symmetra or Torbjorn turrets, that won't count towards your ultimate. So, in general, it makes ultimate usage and ultimate kind of stacking a little bit limited in both quick play and competitive and other types of game modes in the game. Now, the second one is that ultimates cost 25% more for each hero. That is a big change, because that means that not only are ultimates going to be valued more, ultimates are going to be stacked more, and coordination between ultimates and not using every ultimate together, or kind of overusing ultimates, is going to be big in competitive especially and whatnot. Moving on to hero changes, the first one we're going to talk about is Ana. Her nano boost no longer increases speed movement. So what that mean is that the hero that you specifically boost with your nano boost, be it a tank, Reinhardt, whatever, any hero that you boost no longer moves a specific percentage, which I think was 25% more movement speed pre-patch, and now there is no movement speed. So you don't have for example, a nano boosted Reinhardt that's running at you as fast as any other hero in the game. So I think that's a pretty good balance and kind of eliminates the massive amounts of team wipes that her nano boost could bring in a game. Now for Diva's changes are not that big specifically. It's just kind of tweaks to her, which I think just makes her really even more balanced. So the first one is like her call to mech is increased by 20%. So if you get killed outside your mech and you have to fight as just her human self, and with her pistol and jumping around, it costs 20% less to get it. So you're gonna get your mech back faster and be able to fight better as a tank and for your team. The second one is that her mech health was increased to 200, but her armor is at 400 still. So what does that mean? Is when in the bottom left corner of your screen, when you see her health, she has 600 health now instead of around 500 before, 400 before, and she has 200 of it is just pure health and 400 of his armor. So the armor takes more explosive damage, while the pure health is just pure health. The third one is that movement speed is increased while firing by 25%. So when you're firing your dual rotating shotguns in your mech form, you will be able to move faster, so you can kind of get closer to enemies and finish them off faster, or get closer to enemies and do more damage. And I think that's really helpful, and that really kind of not increases her damage, but it just makes you more effective at getting close to enemies, because that's what she's meant to get close to enemies, pressure the enemy, and kind of push forward or push back enemy lines. The next hero would be a healer, and that's Lucio. His Amp It Up ability has been decreased by 10% towards his healing ability. So when you switch your sound or his music to heal, it means that he heals 10% less in that specific boost when you amp it up. So you press E, you try to heal boost, it will do 10% less health. I kind of disagree with this one, because I don't think he was like out healing other people when he was amping it up, and now he definitely makes it a lot less effective for him to heal a tank, and it definitely takes longer, but I think it was meant to balance it. It kind of reduce the amount of times that he is a must pick hero. For Mei, her ultimate, which is Blizzard, its cost has been increased by 15%. I think this is definitely needed. There's too many Mei ults in key deciding game play of the games, and too many deciding Mei ults where you might have just outplayed the game. A Mei just comes and ults it maybe twice before the entire team comes and buys time and changes the outcome of the game. So I think this is really good. This is really good. Kind of a little bit of a nerf, but a balance to her, and kind of reduces the rage that can be had when you're playing a Mei. She just ults and wipes your team just because she keeps getting her ultimate ability on the point. Now for Mercy kind of was tweaked, but not really kind of helped or nerfed. In my opinion, the change that she got is her passive health generation activates faster to help her survive more, and I think that's the biggest complaint from Overwatch players, is that Mercy's survivability is very low and she can get killed and picked off easily. But I think it's kind of the point. She's a great healer and her res is amazing, but she can't survive. She has no mobility, while other heroes are a little bit more mobile and whatnot. So I think that's kind of the balance. But I still think Mercy needs a lot of work and a lot of thinking from the developers, and I think they're still doing that. This is just like a small change to see where it goes and what it might do for Mercy. The next hero is Pharah, and Pharah was really the one that was boosted in this patch, and I would say her and Soldier are now the meta within the game. The new meta, as the old meta was another set of heroes, this meta now includes Pharah and Soldier. So what does that mean? Well, Pharah's rocket launcher explosion damage has increased by 13%, and her jump jet lift has increased by 35%. So her radius of how much damage she does with her rocket launcher has increased. So you have more chance of getting splash damage and damage on multiple heroes on the opposing team, and you get to stay in the air longer. That makes it for a very hard target to hit, especially if you're in a one-on-one situation where she's high above you. That makes it really, really hard to hit her specifically. And if she's putting a massive amount of damage, is going to make it really hard for any one hero to counter her other than Soldier. It also means that you're going to see a lot of Mercy and Pharah combo, and that could also be included in the new Pharah meta, which includes a Mercy just damage boosting her and flying with her, because Mercy has her ability, her guarding angel ability to fly around and follow Pharah. So that makes it even more of a tactic that is just hard to deal with, and in general a tactic that is really annoying, but it is the meta. And I've heard from other competitive players watching their streams that they thought for a long time that was going to be the new meta, and they didn't lie. Now moving on to the next hero, Soldier 76. And Soldier 76 is, like I said before, it's also part of the new meta, and he goes along with Pharah, or against Pharah if you want to say that, because his change is that his pulse rifle damage was increased per bullet to 20 from 17, and his bullet speed was increased from 2.2 meters to 2.4 meters. So he does more damage per bullet, and his bullet speed has increased, so your shots will get there faster. And in general, I think you should be able to deal damage faster because you do more damage and your bullets get there faster. You probably should have more range, and you don't have to lead that much your shots as well. Now, I say that he's part of the meta now because they wanted him to be a damage dealer and kind of get more eliminations, and that's what his new ability, not new abilities, but his new changes bring to him. And he's meant to counter Pharah strongly now that she's been really buffed and is really strong, because now, like I said before, his changes are he does more damage and his bullets reach faster, so he doesn't have to lead too much when the Pharah is kind of just floating around him or above him and he's really high, so he doesn't have to really think about how far he has to shoot it in front of her or lead his shot. Now, what that also does to other heroes he might be playing against is that he is a damage outputting machine, especially playing against tanks who, for example, don't have their shields up like Ryan, or who doesn't have armor packages like Roadhog. You can really build your ult off of that really fast as Soldier. And just based off that and the competitive games that I've played so far, anybody who's playing a Soldier seems to have his ult a lot more frequently than not, even though the ultimate percentage that was increased, or the ultimate cost was increased by 25%, it still felt like he had his ultimate for a long time. So I think that's interesting to see that he and Pharah are the part of the meta, even though I felt like Pharah didn't have her ultimate as much as Soldier did. Although I do like that he was buffed because he really needed it. He really needed that love, because the percentage of the amount of people who were picking Soldier had gone down since his changes to his bloom and whatnot and accuracy. Even though his accuracy when you hold the fire button down has stayed the same, but it makes it a lot easier when you can output more damage to play him. Now the next hero we got to talk about is Torbjorn. A little turret builder has had some big changes in my opinion and makes him a little bit more viable, but not not too overpowered, but some things kind of do make him a little bit more annoying, to say the least. So his first change is that scrap is generated automatically, or as you could say, passively. So that means that beforehand you would have to kill enemies, or any downed enemies would produce armor or scrap for him to create armor and give it to his team. So that would make it hard for him, because if you would have to go around to where a team was an enemy was killed, pick up the scrap, and then when you have enough scrap, you could start putting up armor for your team, and that made it hard for you to put out armor for them, and it kind of made it like a very not useful ability. So now scrap is generated passively, and you put out more armor. The next one is that scrap collected, because enemies still put down scrap, was increased by 40%. So not only does he generate scrap by himself passively, he can pick up more scrap per every time he picks up, and 40% specifically. So that means that, based on what I've seen and what I've played, is that Torbjorn can put out a lot of scrap and have most of the team is going to have armor for long periods of time, so they withstand explosions more often, because that's what armor does in this game. And that, I think that was also meant to counter Pharah with her recent buff, because his turret is pretty good at countering Pharah if the Pharah doesn't kind of narrow and focus her attention on it. So that means that the turret can kill her easily, and if you have armor to kind of counter the explosion damage that she might be putting out for a couple of seconds, you can counter her rather easily if she's not a good Pharah. Although, disclaimer, if they have a good Pharah, it's going to be a long day for you, even if you have that turret and soldier up in this new meta and patch. Now his third changes that have come along applied to his hammer. The first one is that his hammer's swing speed has increased by 25%, and the damage from the hammer has decreased by 27%. So he swings faster, but he does less damage with the hammer. If you're ever into trying to hammer people to death in this game, I don't know why you'd be doing that, but still, if you do that, kudos to you. And if you get kills with that, I tip my hat off to you. But it just means that it increases the rate at which you build your level 2 turret, which is the most important thing for Torbjorn, because the level 2 turret is the best thing you probably bring to help your team. And that probably is also a balancing change to not only improve his viability in any situation or in any game mode, this should probably once again kind of help in countering Pharah with her recent buff, because he can build the turret up faster if she kills it. Now, I think the changes to Torbjorn are fine. I don't think they're game breaking. The next hero is Widowmaker. Widowmaker's changes have been that her Venom explosion no longer does damage to Widow herself. I think that's fine. I don't think that was really a big problem for Widow players, unless Widow player wants to tell me. And that her sniper rifle charging rate has increased by 28%. So her Widow's Kiss, the sniper version of her assault rifle, increases faster, so you can pop up shots faster, kind of sort of quickscope, but not really, and be able to get kills faster. The last one is Zarya. Her power charge gain from her barriers is decreased by 20%. Same for both particle and projected. So that means that she's not at high energy all the time, and she doesn't get higher energy as much. So it that really nerfs her and kind of makes her less viable. And I've seen a lot less Zarya players. I think that's fine, because it makes other tanks viable now. So yeah, guys, those are the changes to the new heroes in Overwatch, the big ones. Those are just hero changes. Let me know what you guys think of the hero changes. Give me feedback in the comment section, like, dislike, subscribe, whatever you want to do if you like the video and whatnot. So thanks for watching, guys, and take care.